everyone, this is In the Middle with Kes and Jamie.
Hey guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing a podcast with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. Hope everyone's doing well there as well, on the other side of the screen. Tell me, how was your week?
It's a busy week, but it's the kickoff of summer, and everything's it's getting hot. I mean, it's just been really hot here, and
rainy.
And rainy, and just kind of muggy, and just kind of in general. But anyway, it's summer, and we're outside. Who cares?
It's end of school. A lot of schools have already finished.
Yeah.
Some are just about to finish, so kids are going to be out. With the fact that the things are opening or coming back to normal, a lot of people are returning to the offices. The summer camps are still up in the air for a lot. So I know that there are not that many as a normal summer. So that'll be interesting what the kids are going to be doing all through. And how the parents, on the other hand, will be able to keep them busy or entertained, because some of the parents are going to have to go back to work and back to the office. So that'll be interesting to see.
I think it's made teachers really appreciate school much more so than they ever had before.
Right, and
get them out of your house.
A lot of schools are doing summer school, so hopefully that will be taken. And then kids are going to do that, because obviously with the virtual learning, I'm sure that not everyone really has been able to take in as much as they. Well,
and that's the reason why quite personally, I think that everyone across the board should be held back a year. Not failed, you're just held back a year, just because it was a useless year. Yeah. And I just don't want to see kids being set up for failure later. But
right.
Anyway, that's
my opinion. Interesting. So what we're going to go through today, let me give you a little rundown. We're going to talk a little bit about conspiracies and conspiracy theories. We will also update you on the royal family and the new baby, and see how that goes. So see you guys in a minute. So, conspiracy theories, that's always interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, that raises a lot of questions. But
as they do, yeah.
You told me that you read a really interesting article recently about conspiracy theories. Give us a little bit more.
Yeah, there's this great article I found that was written by Peggy Noonan. Peggy Noonan was Ronald Reagan's speechwriter back in the day when he was president, and she's a very well-known, well-respected conservative thought leader, and has been very, very outspoken about certain things and certain conspiracy theories. And also, she's a conservative, but she's not a right-wing nut like some of them have become. And so, I mean, even as a Republican myself, I mean, it's been a problem for me. So I'm really, drawn to her, but her point of view. But I was really glad to see her write this article, because this is a issue that I wanted us to talk about here, even before she wrote the article. And in the opinion piece that she wrote, she talks about why conspiracy theories and why conspiracyism has really taken root here in the last few years, and really gotten just astronomically important with a lot of people in their lives. I mean, they just did a poll that showed that 15% of American people believe that the government, financial industry, and businesses are run by a global satanic cult. There's child trafficking and all these other kinds of things.
Yeah, there's loads of movies and series about that.
Yeah,
around that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really people are, those kinds of theories and those kinds of fears are one of the things that's really making people wonder what's going on in the world, and there's so many things that are up in the air, and there's so many things that are very, very confusing and very threatening in today's world. Is why they need a theory for everything that kind of sums up and helps them understand why is this all happening? Why did he lose the election? Why did he win? Why did these people get shot, and why did these people not? Where was this attack done?
She's going through that in her article.
No, some of that. She goes through the points where she's talking about the reasons why. Here's 3 points of why they are they have legs. Number one, we have a conspiracy atmosphere where people are really looking for something to unify them. So if you have this, being an American, especially during the COVID crisis, and everybody's in isolation, everyone's very lonely. And the conspiracy theory online and so forth, these online things like QAnon and others, that gave someone an issue to focus around, gave them something to belong to, gave them something to believe in. A second thing is there's been a huge decrease in church attendance and religious practices, practicing religion in the country over the last few decades, and so that's left a spiritual hole. And so people are really looking for a reason why they are here. They're looking for something to fill that void. If God can't fill it, then QAnon can. I mean, so those are kinds of reasons why they're looking for that. And then a third thing is these conspiracy theory advocates or people that follow them are really there's a lot of people in the right and the people within the conspiracy theory area that feel like they don't trust the mainstream media, and a lot of that is because they have been lied to, or they feel like they've been lied to, or they've been misled. And that's because there's its own revolution going on within journalism in the newsroom between the woke crowd and the traditional journalists. It's a battle between we want to push the agenda versus we're here to just report facts. And so that's really kind of made it very, very unsettled for people. And so there's also been so much that's happened in the last year. Just think about the last year. We've had COVID. Everybody's been in isolation, not just here in the U.S., but globally. We couldn't go to churches. Kids couldn't go to school. We're locked in our houses. You can't go to restaurants. You can't go to anything. You've got kids that were born girls, and now they're boys, and now they want to play in the boys' sports and vice versa. And there's no kind of like conversations about these things. It's really. I'm not getting into a debate about that, but it's really confused people's worlds.
Right.
And they don't
so the ability to believe in a theory, a conspiracy theory, makes them feel sort of a belonging to something, right? Or unifies them, and then they can find people that think alike, and then they can sort of group themselves together and be with somebody who, has the same view and idea. But is that also a method of controlling people? Because if we've spoken a little bit about COVID here and there, but now with the questioning and figuring out, and with the Fauci emails coming out, the discussion whether the COVID was actually a lab thing, and how that all of it is going to affect the relationship between countries, general trust in people, and with the fact that this is controlling so much. The countries were able to control people. You have to stay home, you can't go anywhere, and it's really, now you can go, now you can't. Right. Now you can do this, but you can't do this. And so it's an incredible method of manipulation of enormous amount of people. And the whole idea, I think, of conspiracy theories generally is really, as you said, is sort of feeling of belonging, and religion is one of the biggest conspiracy theories. You can choose to believe it, you can choose not to, but it is a way of people saying, look, we don't have any evidence per se, but at the same time, here's what we have found, and as faith, and then and I understand that if you don't believe in anything, it is very difficult to function. Right, to be part of a community. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that. I mean, listen, I was raised Christian. I am a Christian, but and that's what works for me. But I don't push it on somebody else, and I've never said, oh, you've got to be this, you've got to be that. But I do believe that you've got to find something, whatever it is, whatever works for you. You need to find something, because if you don't find something, you're going to fall for some of these things. Well, and again, the 9/11, was it not? Right. How was it? Was it some agencies that were doing it? Were all the buildings were planned to be bombed, or not? And a lot of people go into crazy ways of trying to find out a lot of information, and some go and you read it and you go, okay, well, that's a little far-fetched, I mean, almost unrealistic, you're probably writing a Hollywood movie scene. But some you read and you go, interesting, I probably would like to find out more. I think that that's a really good point, a really important point that you're making, because
in all of these, there's at least one little smidgen or granular part of it that is very believable and makes logical sense, and then it just kind of builds upon that. It's almost like a pearl. It's just
Right.
builds a layer and layer and layer upon that. And so, but it's funny that you mentioned that, because there was the people that were pushing for some of these theories that were regarding the children and the child abuse things, that these people were sacrificing, people, and they're drinking their blood in the Capitol. I mean,
Drinking blood in the Capitol. This is something you said to me, right?
Yeah.
You have some friends or family that believe that the what is it? The senators in the Capitol are drinking people's blood. And
Yes.
they're sacrificing blood, and they're sucking blood so they can live longer or be smarter or whatever. But anyway, just in this day and age, I think that is.
But it was shocking to me. It really pissed me off when Mom told me. I mean, my mom doesn't believe that, but she told me, and I knew exactly. There were about 5 family members. I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be one of these 5 idiots. And I love them, but I mean, they're a little bit whacked on some of the conspiracy theory stuff, because they sit there and they believe, they see all this stuff. They don't. They're from a small town. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being from a small town, but they're from an isolated area. They get a limited amount of news. They have siloed their information within a certain
Well,
mindset
and then
and
with that
philosophy.
limitation, you can't really have a broader way of thinking,
No.
because you are really presented and you choose to be fed by this. And
Right.
so anyway, I think it's definitely a topic we can go into much further and more details.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing this article to us, and I think that definitely we'll come back to the conspiracy theory talks soon again. Okay, well, the royals and everything around them is not all the issues are not coming down. We thought after the Oprah interview
I thought
of
they were
Meghan
leaving.
and Harry.
They were leaving the
They were
world.
leaving. Well, they were leaving the UK, the official duties of the the royals, but no, I think there's very much on everyone's tongue.
So much for their quiet private life, but anyway, whatever.
Well, they
anyway.
have had, so Meghan and Harry had their second baby, and which is fantastic, and they've called her nothing else but Lilibet Diana Windsor Mountbatten.
Yeah.
And everything would have been fine apart from one thing, that Lilibet is the family cute little name that the Queen has, and has been called by just that little quiet, family.
Right.
Very kind of
Nickname.
like a little cute nickname that she had from her father, mother,
Right.
and her late husband. And the announcement of the baby came 2 days later after the baby was born, and so that was the first shocker. So the royal family,
Because they're always on top of that. I mean, the whole
yes,
royal family.
normally
is that.
the announcements comes the same day,
Right.
and so on and so forth. And there's been a discussion going on about the fact that the Queen has not been informed, and there wasn't any discussion about the chosen name. And however, Harry says, well, no, I've called the Queen, and actually I think the official statement says we've called, the Queen was the first one we've called and told her about the name, and so they're considering that to be the discussion. And I think that at this point in time, it's one of those situations, well, we've decided we're going to call our baby Lilibet, Lilibet, sorry, and yeah, because I'm going to say Elizabeth, but, and then it's a decision made. What is the Queen to say? No, don't call her that? Can you imagine what would have happened, considering the relationship that has been happening right now?
Why?
Well, I'm thinking that, you are saying no to us? Bang, it will be the first thing on the press.
Queen denies
Yes.
Meghan what she wants, and it's
Exactly.
Just, it's really.
And so the question here is was there a discussion? I think that if it is put the way that they've put it, that we've called her, informed her, there is no discussion. There's no room for discussion. If she was going to say, no, I don't like you picking my name,
What?
they're going to say, oh, the Queen said no. Bang, that's more scandal and even more PR for them. So the fact that she said nothing,
Yeah.
Is really, and the BBC followed up with the story. Meghan and Harry are suing them, or the official note, legal official. Well, they've given the BBC the official legal note saying that this is not true and this is not correct. However, the royal family has been asked this question, and they said that they have not denied that there was a conversation, but they haven't acknowledged and confirmed it.
They cannot confirm or deny that this conversation
kind of makes it look like there was no discussion. And again, seriously.
But it goes back to what you said at the beginning. I mean, they were, or we talked about at the beginning, they were leaving the royal duties to go and be private and to be private and citizens, and to raise their child and now children in a normal environment, away from the media and away from the press and pressures that come with being a royal. All they've done is they've changed locations and they've changed the PR machine that's running them, because they now have rather than having the royal household PR machine running their lives, they're running their own PR. Now, I have no qualms with that. I mean, obviously, Americans, we don't really care, but at the same time, if you're going to leave, if you're going to do that, then leave. Then stop putting a press release out there about your kids.
Can they really leave, fully? I mean, they still have the titles. They're not performing the royal duties. Yes, they're not performing the royal duties, but they still use the titles. The book came out, Meghan wrote a book, and it's a children's books, and she's devoted it to Harry and the relationship, where she kind of hinted and promoted that there was a mention of a little bit there. I mean, there's a lot of things that, as you rightly said, they're using that as their own PR here. How successful it is, it more looks like a soap opera. And it's unfortunate that it's looking like that. But there was an interview with Prince Edward just recently as well. And
that's the Queen's youngest son.
Yes, the Queen's youngest son, correct. And he said, look, we're a family.
We can't escape the fact that it has been a difficult few months for the royal family on a number of levels, but particularly around the situation with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and how that has played out so publicly. That has been difficult. I wonder how you view that now, or how you look at that particular situation.
I stay way out of it. It's much the safest place to be.
And do you feel any sadness about how it's played out?
Oh, of course, I mean, it's there are all sorts of issues and circumstances there, but we've all been through there. We've all had that same spotlight shone on our lives. We've been subjected to massive intrusion and all the rest of it, and we all deal with it in different ways.
A new baby for Harry and Meghan, the sweet baby Lilibet, a name that will be very meaningful for your family.
Well, we just wish them, all happiness. That's fantastic news, and yeah, absolutely. I hope they're very happy, and yeah.
Family. Not, whether royal or not royal, we have our beef, if you wish, between ourselves. We have our issues like any other normal family.
Crazy ones that have conspiracy theories.
Yes, right. Also, conspiracy theories there, right? Diana's mother, very big conspiratorial
that was a big
issue there too. But the whole idea of we're looking at them. We like the idea of tradition. We like the idea, but they are still family. So the fact that there are issues going on in a family, that's normal. How everyone reacts, does, and whatnot, that's a different question. So Kate Middleton was there, and at the press conference was asked about whether she's seen the new baby, and she said no, we haven't had a chance to see her yet, but would love to.
Your Royal Highness, do you have any wishes for your new niece, Lilibet?
Oh, I wish her all the very best. I can't wait to meet her because we haven't yet met her yet. So hopefully that will be soon.
Have you FaceTimed with her?
No, I haven't.
Let's go. Where are we headed? Just straight back. Straight back.
Which means, it looks like very strange. So you have a new baby born in a family. Wouldn't you share pictures? I don't know, do FaceTime. Hey, everyone, this is the little one. And there's some kind of interesting conversation going amongst representation of the Sussex and the Cambridges, and the fact that Meghan apparently reached out to Kate Middleton several times on the phone. Kate didn't answer the phone, and
Yeah, but she's afraid to.
exactly. And I think the response there from not official response, but it really is.
The
You know,
implied response.
Kate will be petrified of really having this conversation or any kind of private conversation, because you know any of it can go out and to the public and it will never be really private.
Yeah,
So
and you can't have a personal, private conversation with them because they've already shown that they're not trustworthy with the information. They burned Prince Charles on a private conversation, and I think some of the other royal family members. So they have really, soiled themselves as far as this is concerned, and they've created this barrier. So if there's any kind of whining and complaining about, oh, they're not talking to me, it's like, well, dude, I mean, why would they talk to you? Because you're going to be, doing a press release right after the damn phone call. So it's just anyway. But the bottom line is their family. Families all have drama. And
so does the British royal family.
Yeah.
And I think the drama will continue, to be honest. I don't think it's the last we've heard about it. I think the Lilibet conversation is going to go on for a little while longer too. Though personally, I think it's a very cute name. And
I like the name.
I think that if they possibly could have gone slightly better about it, it wouldn't be an issue or a problem.
And you would think that they would have enough sense to have done that. I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
a
and
little bit sensitive.
I mean,
And
again,
also,
it's not like, we just, your great granddaughter is born. By the way, we're calling her Lilibet. Do you mind? And I mean, seriously, what would the response be? I don't actually like it. Oh, all right then. And the Queen said, So I think I'm repeating myself here, but I think they just wanted to really show you and stress out how ridiculous that is, in a sense that whether you what you can be considering as a discussion.
Right.
But we'll definitely be hearing more from them, I'm sure, and that's a conversation that we will be picking up every now and then as well, and updating you, or at least our thoughts on the issue.
Hey guys, on today's episode of Politics Smolitics, I want to talk to you about one of the issues that I see that's really important that you need to know about, that is in the news some, but I really want to point out why this is happening and why it's important. Right now, the President Biden, has proposed a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure bill, which is before Congress. Now, the House has already passed it and it's going to the Senate, but in the Senate, there's a very slim margin of majority. It's 50-50, so the only way that the Democrats can win is by using Vice President Kamala Harris's vote. She is the president, as being a vice president, she is the president of the Senate, so she can break any ties. So right now we have this infrastructure bill that's on the table, that's being considered. Now, infrastructure, when you hear the word infrastructure, you usually think bridges, highways, roads, things that are great and things that we really do need in this country. And our infrastructure really has been crumbling, as we all know. As we drive down the road, we hit bumps and everything else, and we see the traffic backing up. We can see that we really do need to invest in infrastructure. But there's so many items that are inside this bill that are considered by some not to be infrastructure related whatsoever. Child care, educational tools, other relief things from COVID that have no real being germane as far as to the topic of the bill, which is infrastructure. And a lot of Republicans are taking exception to that. Now, they could really force this bill through and make it happen, but it's going to be an extraordinary cost for the Democrats and also for the country ultimately, because the Democrats are going to be forcing their will on the Senate and the House, but they're also going to be forcing the representatives of those states that may not agree with what they're promoting here. So with this, we have two senators, Democratic senators, that are really holding this up and are putting the brakes on this in many ways. Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema of Arizona, Joe Manchin of West Virginia, and Kristen Sinema of Arizona. Now, they are both conservative Democrats and have wanted this bill to be bipartisan. The reason why this is important, why they're allowed to do that, is because they're, as U.S. senators, they can put a hold on a bill, or they can hold up a bill with a filibuster, and that's one of the things that the Democrats are trying to get rid of, the filibuster, so that they can pass a bill like this with a simple majority vote. So in the long run, it's very important for all of us to get an infrastructure bill, because we all need this damn highway bill. But for whatever reason, and a lot of it's politics, in agendas that have nothing to do with freaking infrastructure, the Congress, both House and Senate, they're in this deadlock, especially the Senate. They're in a deadlock over this bill. And who suffers for this? We do, because we're not getting what we need. We need these roads, we need these bridges fixed, and we need this done now, and we need them to stop playing games. So that's politics this week.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. It was lovely being here. Nice conversations. And next week, we've got something special for you. We'll be talking about Japan Olympics and all issues around it. And Jamie...
We're going to have an interview with an individual from Tokyo talking about what's going on in Japan and how the Japanese are looking at the Olympics that's going on, and also the vaccine distribution, which has really been kind of a mess in Japan. So we'll stay tuned for that next week, and we'll have that interview for you.
Hit thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. And we'll get back to you very, very soon.
Great. Thank
See you later. Bye. In the middle.